Welcome back to Next Level You podcast. Today I have Heather Kopecki with me. I learned about Heather through just simply searching on Instagram for Beyond Quantum Healing. I knew I wanted to work with a hypnotherapist. This was a year ago now. And so, yeah, I just searched her up on Instagram, found her page, and scheduled a session with her, and we've just stayed connected ever since. And that session was so powerful. So I wanted to bring her on the podcast today because I used to work here in Eastern Iowa with a hypnotherapist, and it was life-changing for me. And then I did my session, just like a one-off session with Heather, and that was also life-changing for me. And so now, as a mental health therapist myself who plans to eventually get certified in hypnotherapy, I just think everybody truly needs to know about hypnotherapy, and there needs to be some things like debunked about it because it's so obvious from like when I talk to friends and family members who have never experienced hypnotherapy, like there's definitely a stigma. Hollywood has portrayed anything with the word hypno in it to be like true hypnosis, and you think you know what it is, but you actually don't unless you experience it. And so I've become very passionate about this. I have not yet started any kind of certification for it, but I just feel very strongly that it's part of my soul's journey to eventually provide hypnotherapy here in the area where I practice. But back to my guest. So Heather is a licensed clinical social worker, and she is certified in Beyond Quantum Healing, or BQ. She really blends science, soul, and compassion to help others reconnect with their inner wisdom and heal on every level. And I can definitely testify to that. It's healing on every level, you guys. She is the owner, therapist, and hypnotherapist at her practice, Inner Balance Healing, and she is located in Canyon Lake, Texas. Heather's journey began with her own search for meaning and healing, which led her to explore social work, energy, and intuitive work, and the power of the quantum field. Heather has a bachelor's and master's degree in social work from Texas State University. She's been practicing social work for over 15 years and BQH for 2 years, and she works to help people awaken, transform, and step into a more aligned version of their true self. So if you're a longtime listener of the podcast, obviously this fits right in line with my brand. It just made complete sense to bring her on the podcast because, like I said, not a lot of people know about this. So, Heather, I'm going to let you take the wheel. Why don't you introduce yourself and share whatever you want to about what BQH is?
So that was a really good introduction of me. Professionally, that's exactly who I am. Personally, pretty much the same person. I'm obsessed with BQH. I love everything therapy. I love what I do. I love life. And I love that I was asked to be on this show because everybody needs to know about BQH.
Yeah.
Everybody. It is so amazing. It has done wonders in my life, so many of my clients' lives, so many people across the world, your life. Like it
Yeah.
is life changing.
Yeah.
So what BQH is, it's a form of hypnotherapy. It uses hypnosis for personal and spiritual development or growth. My gosh, it does so much.
Yeah.
It's hard to really put into words because there's
Yeah.
so much that it entails. But
Right.
basically, it lets you tap into your soul and get your wisdom.
Yeah. It's almost like I really compare it to like you're connecting with that higher version of yourself, like source, but like I also think that's like connecting to a higher version of yourself. Yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely. So what led you to even exploring this? Like what was the trajectory for you to getting into BQH?
So I have always been a seeker of all the answers to the universe.
Yeah.
Since high school, I know I was asking questions about the religion that I was in. I was seeking, exploring, reading everything I could. In college, the same thing. Fast forward, finally in 2015, I read a book, and that book was Journey of Souls by Dr. Michael Newton. He was a clinical hypnotherapist that practiced hypnotherapy. And one day he accidentally took somebody a little bit deeper, and they ended up in a past life. They ended up telling him things that they shouldn't have known about the doctor. So it really fascinated him. He got super curious and he started doing past life regressions then in his practice. He did thousands of cases and ended up writing books. So it's two books, but they kind of go together. They're just
Okay.
two books, but it's
Okay.
Journey of Souls and Destiny of Souls. And after I read that, I was like, oh my God, I want to be a past life regressionist too one day. And so
Cool.
I kept reading, I kept learning, I kept exploring. And fast forward again, I ran across BQH. And there was just something really special about it. and it clicked right with me, and it was the perfect timing in my life, and so I decided to go ahead and get certified.
Nice, nice. And it was obviously like you had dabbled in it yourself and you had seen success from it. And I just think naturally as practitioners, like we teach or we counsel on what we know. You know, it's like I always feel like I'm practicing on younger versions of myself, even though most of my clients, I'd say about 50% of my clients are older than me. But you know what I mean? Like it really is like you're counseling a younger version of yourself more often than not. So that makes complete sense. So when you're doing BQH, just to help people understand a little more deeply, you're really helping people uncover these like subconscious blocks, limiting beliefs, also like you said, tapping into past lives potentially. Um, these subconscious blocks, I always tell people in my coaching specifically, these are things that are formed over years, over things we've heard from parents, things that we just like grew up being taught in society, right? So can you explain to listeners like how a BQH session maybe helps to like rewrite those limiting beliefs or subconscious blocks that they might have?
Absolutely. So, with hypnosis, you're able to relax the mind.
Mm,
You're able to bypass this conscious mind, this everyday thinking monkey mind, chitter chatter. You're able to bypass that and go into the subconscious and beyond. The superconscious soul, the quantum field, whatever you want to call it. You
okay.
can bypass that. Once you get to the subconscious, you get to go a little deeper and start digging and understanding why you had this limiting belief, where it came from,
Mm,
what it served you for, what it protected you from. And once you have that awareness, that's when the shift happens.
yeah. Yeah.
So, able to go right into it immediately, access it, learn all about it, understand it, and then you can change it.
Yeah. Yeah, and as you're talking about this, it reminded me. So I did a session with Heather back in, I
I
don't
don't even
know, I don't remember what month it was now because I did a lot of these types of sessions last year. I know it was last year. Anyways, there was one I didn't even know. That's the thing with limiting beliefs. You don't always even know that you have them because they're in your subconscious. So you're not like consciously aware that you have them. A lot of times we just think our thoughts are factual, right? So, as we're talking and going through this session, I'm realizing that I'm carrying this guilt around not going to church anymore because as a child, I grew up going to church. It was really important to me. It was like a value that was just really instilled in me from a young age. And we had this really great local church community. And she uncovered for me that I was really like carrying this heavy guilt from not going because way back in the day, one of our dear friends who we had met through church had said something along the lines of like had put the pressure on me like when you get older you need to be sure to like keep this church community going. And so not going to that church anymore and not being active in the church, I didn't realize that subconsciously I was carrying this guilt. And and honestly like releasing that in that session felt so freeing for me because I don't feel guilty anymore that I don't go because if I'm being completely honest, my spiritual health is at it's honestly like the strongest it's ever been. But I really needed to release that guilt that I was carrying. It wasn't serving me well. And so I'm sharing that because I want you guys to know like we're not always aware that we have these limiting beliefs, first of all. And these sessions, even though they're lengthy, I mean, I think mine was like 4.5 hours long with Heather, even though they're lengthy, you uncover things that you are not consciously aware of day in and day out. And then when you release those in this session, it can be so freeing if you let it. And so that's just one example that really stood out to me as you were talking that it's just not always obvious to us that we even carry these beliefs. And that's what's really powerful about BQH is pointing that stuff out and really like digging it up.
I like to believe also just from experience in BQH sessions that those limiting beliefs might have been created in this lifetime. Most of them
Yeah.
are, but
Yeah.
some of them aren't. Some of them are from many, many past lives. And so, of
Right.
course, we're not going to be consciously aware of why do we struggle with this? I have no
Mm-hmm.
out of nowhere. I just struggle
Yep.
until
Yeah.
you get into there and you get to learn, hey, okay, this is where it is. This is why
Right.
it happened. Now I can
Yeah.
change.
That's a really good point, Heather, because like as I've done a lot of my mindset work around money, I've come to realize that a lot of our limiting beliefs around money did not start in this lifetime. Some of it has, depending on like what kind of childhood you went through, but a lot of my limiting beliefs with money really is like generational trauma that has just like continued to pass on to us. And that's nobody's fault. I mean, like, if you think about our grandparents came out of the Great Depression and all the money beliefs around that time, and it just continued to get carried on. But that is a great point. Like, not all of these beliefs started in this lifetime with us. And yeah, it's just so powerful. I'm so passionate about this. I love where this is going. So, can you kind of walk us through just what a general BQH session might look and feel like for somebody who's interested in it?
Sure. So I always like to have a free consultation call, and that's mainly to see if they're a good fit for BQH, see what's led them to BQH, what they want to gain from it. And then I send them home with a preparation guide on how to prepare for a session. And this is all about practicing relaxing your mind, practicing visualizing. I asked them to create a list of questions that they would like answered in the session, what their intentions are to get kind of reflect on that, maybe write about it, how to prepare mentally, physically, and spiritually for this upcoming session. And it's just a cheat sheet with all kinds of tips and recommendations. And then the day of the session, we start with a pre interview, which is kind of like a therapy session, I guess. It's just a way for me to get to know you. I get to hear your story. I get to hear the challenges that you have, the concerns you're having, why you're wanting this BQH session, what you want to gain from it, what you want to work on. It gives me a good overview of who the client is and what we're going to be doing in session. And after that, that's when the session starts. That's where you get cozy, you close your eyes, and I guide you through hypnosis. And after that, there's really no direction. I can't really tell you exactly what happens in a session because every time it's different. Wherever the soul wants to take you, whatever it wants you to experience, that's where you're going to go.
That's
Whether that's past
amazing.
lives, whether that's connecting with a higher consciousness, whether that's gaining some clarity or guidance around some issues, whether that's releasing some emotions. I mean, the list goes on. It could be so
Yeah.
many different things. But during the session, the client has their experience. After the session, I like to do a short little integration session just to kind of get what they got from the session,
Hmm.
how they felt, what they thought about it, and what they're going to plan to do with it.
Mm,
Are they just going to forget about it and not think
right.
about it ever again? Or are they going to have an extra integration session? I do offer those after our session just to help you integrate everything you went through into this life and put the pieces together and get more clarity.
Yeah.
They can do that on their own too. They can journal, they can meditate, they can pray, whatever helps them feel reconnected back to themselves
Right.
and just to reflect and really gain a better understanding of everything that they experienced.
That's amazing.
QH session in a little nutshell.
Yeah, and I bet what you love most about it, correct me if I'm wrong, but I bet you love that there is no session that there it's not a cookie cutter thing. Like every session looks and feels so different. That's so
Yes.
cool. I love it.
That's what I love about therapy too.
I
Like,
agree.
meetings are never boring.
Yep.
Everybody's so different.
Yep.
Every issue is so different, and so,
Yeah.
yes, it's exciting.
Yeah. I love it. And I do want to debunk for listeners just because there is this like stigma, or maybe that's not the right word to use, but there's this expectation for like what hypnosis or what hypnotherapy is. I do want to debunk for listeners that you have complete control when you're under hypnosis or when you're experiencing the session. Like, it's not like what Hollywood portrays. You are in complete control. You can hit pause at any time. Consciously, you're aware. You know what you're saying. Like we said before, it's just like you're accessing this higher version of yourself that you have complete control. I feel like that is what intimidates people to accessing or trying stuff like this, is because Hollywood has portrayed anything related to hypnosis as like you are completely out of control and these things are happening to you under the power of somebody else. But that's not at all what these sessions look or feel like.
That is one of the biggest misconceptions that comes my way.
Yeah.
It's, "You're gonna make me quack like a duck. You're gonna make me say or do something that I don't wanna say." I'm
Right.
like, "No, dude, you
No.
have full control.
Yep.
Your conscious is still there. It's just sitting kind of on the sidelines while you're digging deeper."
Yeah. Yeah.
But no, you are in full control. You are fully aware of what's going on. And you're right. If you ever get uncomfortable during a session, if you're ever not feeling it, all you have to
Yeah.
do is open your eyes and it's over.
Right. Right. Absolutely.
I always like to think too that in a BQH session, I feel like you are more focused than you are conscious in your conscious everyday life.
I agree, because all that noise is gone. All the outside chatter, it's gone.
So your mind is relaxed. You're
Yep,
able to be really present with what is going on right in front of you. And we
right,
don't
and
always do that in everyday life.
that's exactly what I was thinking, like, how often do you get that complete focus and uninterrupted time? You don't.
Yep,
So, yeah,
absolutely.
and it's an investment doing one of these sessions, but I think it is one of the best investments you can make in yourself because, 1, like, you never get that uninterrupted time like that, and the things you can heal in a 4-hour BQH session, you could go to a talk therapist for a lifetime and not heal those same issues in like a 30-year span, potentially. So that speaks volumes of this, okay? Because some people go to therapy for 20, 30 plus years and don't uncover some of the things that I worked through in that one BQH session. And I've now done two now. I did one with Heather and one with another practitioner here in Eastern Iowa. And I mean, I'm telling you, like, I've been going to therapy for, I don't know, probably like closer to 14 years now. And like some of the stuff I worked through in those sessions, I don't feel like I even really touched, you know? So even if the price scares you, which I personally just feel like any investment in your healing is worth it, but I know not everyone looks at it that way, but you have to look at it like it's an investment in your future self. It's an investment in showing up as that best version of yourself and just bringing true healing to your present, to your past, to potentially, like, generations before you, and, like, I don't think you can put a price tag on that. So, I just,
So
like,
true.
wanted to put a plug. Shameless
It's
little plug.
Thank you for saying that because
Yeah,
people do kind of nervous about the price because it is a little
I know.
pricey. And I
Yeah.
get it. I get it. And the more hours that you want in session, that's just adding on money. Of
Yep.
course, I get it.
Yeah.
But it really is one of the greatest investments that you can make for yourself. And
Yeah.
to therapy, you're right. It's easy access into the subconscious and beyond.
Mhm.
You can heal so many things in just
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It really is.
Yeah. I think I came with gosh, I don't even remember. To yours, I think I came with, like, I don't know, 10 to 15, questions or something or prompts or whatever that I wanted answered. And, yeah, like, you can't like, that could take 30 weeks in talk therapy till it just to, like, skim the surface with those things, not necessarily to heal from them, but is there any kind of client that, like, this wouldn't be well suited for? Like, I'm sure in your mind you have, like, an ideal client avatar who, like, this is your ideal client that would walk through your door or come to you. Is there anybody that, like, wouldn't be a good fit for something like this? Just curious.
I would say anybody who has, oh,
Or maybe switch it around to, like, what would your ideal client if you were to describe, like, what your ideal client is for BQH,
yeah, that's
who
good.
is that person? Yeah.
Okay. I think BQH would be best suited for obviously anybody who's on the spiritual journey, anybody who's
Mhm.
on the path, anybody who's listening to this podcast today.
Yeah.
Absolutely, they're ready for BQH. People that have tried traditional therapy and maybe haven't gotten to the root of the issue and they really aren't getting anywhere, they're needing a little bit more BQH. Absolutely. People that are maybe having some synchronicity,
Mm,
or feeling a little nudge from the universe to
yeah,
go deeper, do a little inner work. It really is for so many people, but it's not for everybody, just like other therapy modalities are not for everybody.
right.
If if it feels good, if you're even a little bit curious and you have an open mind and you're just willing to try it, then you're a great candidate for BQ.
Yeah, very well said. I always just tell my own clients, like, if the idea of coming to me brings peace to your heart, then you're on the right path. Like, you're where you're supposed to be. Just trust that. Yeah, that's very fitting. Do spirit guides become a part of these sessions?
Oh, for sure.
Okay. Talk a little bit about that.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Higher consciousness is absolutely come into the session.
Okay.
I've had clients that haven't, how do I want to say this? They haven't come in contact with anybody throughout the session. Then towards the end of the session, I will ask for a higher being, somebody that's benevolent, somebody who's on their team, somebody who's loves them so much and has all their best interest at heart to come forward. And when a spirit guide or a higher consciousness comes through, it's really very natural. Really is. It feels like the person that loves you the most in life is standing right next to you.
Yep.
They love you, they support you, they're your biggest cheerleader, they want nothing but the best for you, and they're right there with you.
Right.
So when they do come through, I've heard that they look like humans. I've heard that they look just like a silhouette, an outline of a human. I've had clients see light beings, and it's just pure light standing in front of them. And then I've had other clients say, I don't see anybody, but I can feel that somebody is with me. And so it's just
Cool.
feeling that somebody's there.
Yeah. Cool.
But yeah, that's one of the coolest experiences, I think.
I love that.
That's been my favorite part of my own BQH journey is meeting
Yeah.
and connecting with my guides.
I bet. And going back to like what your ideal client would be, like anybody that comes to one of these sessions, you need to come with an open mind. Like, don't come in cynical about this. Just come with an open mind, being willing to experience whatever is meant to come to you. And if that's the kind of mindset you go in with, you're more likely to have a better experience or just a more profound experience, I would think. Because even if you're like on the fence about some of this, but you schedule a session anyways, then yeah, you definitely need to come in with an open mind. So I just listened to like, I mean, it was like a 4 hour long session. So I didn't re listen to my whole session, but Heather records the sessions, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So I did a session with Heather and then it was last fall sometime because then it was like a month or so later, I had a psychic medium session with Jessica Rachel. And when we tapped into my spirit guides in my session with you, I was having a hard time, like, visualizing it, but I definitely this was part of what I re-listened to was, like, there it was like a mermaid type silhouette or energy, and I didn't know at the time if I was just, like, really reaching for the stars or if I was just, like, hoping that's what it was because, I love the water and the coast and all that. But then I got that confirmation then when I went and did my session with Jessica Rachel, where she was like, one of the first things she told me was, "Oh, you have this like mermaid like energy with your spirit guides." Like she's telling me you were like a mermaid energy in a past life. And I was like, no shit. That's what I found out from my session with Heather. And so it was just great validation that like, okay, like you weren't reaching for the stars. Like just trust what's coming up for you. And the hard part that I find, and I'm sure you've heard this before, Heather, is just setting the ego aside in sessions like this and not like getting in your head about it. Like just trust what comes up to the surface. Trust that it's legit and factual and don't question it like our ego makes us do.
Very, very true because it really is that easy to connect with your soul or connect in a BQH type way. It really
Yeah.
is easy if we
Yeah.
just put our ego to the side and we relax our mind and we connect with our heart and we can jump right in there. But you're right. A lot of people, I have heard a lot of clients say, I don't know if I feel like I'm making it up or if
I
it was
know.
like because it's
Right.
from your brain, right? You're hearing your thoughts, you're seeing things in your mind's eye, but it is real. And that's how they connect with us because that's what
Right.
feels most real to us.
Right. So you mentioned before that setting intentions before a session is really important. And I'm assuming like you have clients communicate those intentions to you prior to the session. So is that like you then use that information to like do you then incorporate that into the session? Like if they come into a session like I want to know if I'm going to get pregnant in this lifetime or something like maybe they're not wanting a for sure question, but maybe they're just wanting like confirmation on that. You then use that in the session when you're
Absolutely.
accessing. Okay, gotcha. Okay,
I have them write their list of questions out
right.
for our pre-interview. And then once we get into the pre-interview, we might uncover other things that we want to ask about. And so I'll make notes of that. We'll change up some of the questions and we'll get those answered. But that's
Nice.
pre-interview is for too. It's for me to know what is the intention with this session? What do they really want to work on? What type of person are they? Which direction are we going to go? And so it kind of lays the roadmap for us.
Okay. Love it. That's awesome. So I'm just curious, like without giving away like any personal information, obviously, but were there any like over the last couple of years of practicing this, are there any like major breakthroughs or like huge moments that you've witnessed with clients who have done these sessions with you?
I think in every single session that happens, I could sit here all day with you and tell you
Yeah.
stories, so
Awesome.
magical experiences.
Yeah.
Did prepare a few of them because I figured that would probably be a question today. I had one guy, he came in just because he was curious about past lives. And during our pre interview, he had told me that he also struggled with some back pain that he had his whole adult life. He had no injuries, he had no experiences that had led him to have back pain. He just always had it. And so that was one of our questions that we had asked. And during the session, he went into a past life where he was in a war and he ended up getting shot in the back in that exact same spot where that pain was. And so he ended up dying from that wound. And as he was hovering above his body, we did a lot of healing work on that
Mhm.
back pain. And he came out of the session, no back pain. He said literally like it's there all day, all night. He's always feeling it. It's just like this dull, ugly ache that he always has.
Mm.
I checked in with him. I always check in with clients. I try to
Yeah.
at least a week later, a few
Yeah.
weeks later, a month later. And I checked in with him probably like a couple months later and no back pain. So that was pretty amazing. I had
Yeah.
a lot of sessions with chronic pain that have been healed through BQH.
I believe it.
One experience, but there's
Yeah.
so many.
That's amazing.
One that really, really touched my heart was this lady came to me for really bad anxiety. She was having panic attacks every day. She had gone to doctors, she had taken the meds, she had tried therapy, and she was still struggling with anxiety. During our pre-interview session, she told me she had a lot of loss in her life. Her husband, she had lost several family members, lots of friends, like just a lot of grief that was in her body.
Yeah.
During the session, she reconnected with her late husband, and it was the most beautiful experience that I've
Oh,
experienced in my life.
yeah.
Out for a while, he reminded her that I'm not gone. I'm just like in another room. I'm always here. I love you so much. If you would just stop life for a little while, pay attention, you will see signs everywhere that I'm showing you because I'm always around you. I always
Mhm.
have the energy with you. And so when she came out of that session, of course, it was a huge emotional release
Yeah.
and she didn't have any anxiety. I checked in with her for 3 months, like a couple times every other week or so, checking in with her, no anxiety. And she had that spark back of,
Oh, yeah.
I remember they're not gone. We are going to reconnect one day.
Mhm.
Just has really stuck with my heart for all this time since I've met with
Yeah.
her.
That's amazing. That's so amazing. And that really confirms like my belief that I believe that a lot of people suffer from anxiety because they're living in misalignment spiritually. And she clearly got like an alignment from you, like kind of like when you go to the chiropractor, like you just realigned her spiritually though. No anxiety moving forward. Sometimes it's like we need that realignment in our life. And these kind of sessions can provide that. These stories are amazing. And I'll just add one more. You guys, I did a session with Heather. So this whole story is like over the span of 6 months. I did a session with Heather. I was not yet ready for answers about whether baby was or was not in our future. I was still in that place in my fertility journey where I had not fully surrendered. And so I wasn't ready for that confirmation. I did a session a couple months later with, like I said, with Jessica Rachel. And at that time, I was like, all right, I need confirmation. I want to know. We're getting to the end of 2024. Like, I just need to know, is it in the cards or not? We're getting to the into year 7 of trying. Like, I was finally ready. And I got that confirmation that it was in the cards from Jessica. And then I did a session with a spiritual healer. Again, like I had fully surrendered at that point in time, but we regressed back to a past life where it was really the seed point of this wound that I was carrying, where I had had a pregnancy in a past life and I had attempted to kill myself because of this pregnancy. It happened because I was raped and I was ashamed, didn't wanna keep it because of this deep shame that I was carrying, and we really, we re-experienced that whole death. I lived through it, and instead of the baby dying, we actually rewrote that story and watched myself give birth to this child. And we really like brought true healing to that wound that I was carrying. But like, I don't think I would have been able to even be open to that point had I not initially had this session with Heather and then had the next session with Jessica. Like, it's almost like as I was growing spiritually, I needed to be more and more like awakened to the possibility of this isn't something I brought into this lifetime, and I wasn't yet ready to see that. And so these sessions can uncover some really freaking deep stuff that you've been carrying from generations, lifetimes, you name it. These stories are just so amazing because I just think people need to have their eyes open to the depth of healing that can come from something like this. Like, one, connecting with past loved ones, and then two, like working through your own past lives and trauma that you are potentially still carrying. I mean, it's unlike any other healing, I feel.
It really is. And that is what drew me into this.
Yeah. I
After I read
agree.
the book, I was like,
Yeah.
this is real healing. Like therapy
Mhm.
is very healing. It's very
Yeah.
amazing. It's awesome. But
Mhm.
this is soul level healing.
Mhm.
There's nothing else like this. I had
Right.
to go do that.
I totally agree. It's like root cause healing. Like, if you really wanna get to the root cause of something, you have to use hypnotherapy, I feel, or hypnosis of some kind. Like, I just feel like that is the answer to getting to the root of all of this. Yeah,
But
love
you
that.
did bring up a really good point a while ago in that when you had the session with me, you weren't ready yet. And then
No.
in the next session, you felt like you were ready. And so I want to bring that up too, that
Yeah.
clients can come with their whole list of questions with all the things that they want to work on, all the things that they want to experience. But unless you're ready, it may not happen.
Right.
Your
Right.
soul will show you what you need to experience. It will give
Mhm.
you what you need. It will not give you any more if you don't need it, if you're not ready to hear it, if you're not at that level yet. And so some people do need more and more sessions just to keep going layer after layer, just like you
Okay.
did. You got more the next session.
Mhm.
Recommend that because that's the way even our healing journey is, right? We're when we're 15 to 20, we're healing one thing, and then we're 20 to 25, we're healing another thing. Like we're just having layers and layers.
Yeah.
And QH, it's just like that too.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, that's something I was gonna ask is, like, do you recommend is it typically like a one and done session, or do people come back sometimes for follow-ups?
Both.
Okay.
I've
Okay.
had
Yeah.
both.
Awesome.
I would recommend doing more and more because
Yeah.
you're in a spiritual journey. You wanna keep growing, you wanna keep healing, then keep going. Just like
Yeah.
with yeah, I recommend therapy for a lifetime because we're always needing tune-ups. Life is
Yeah.
happening and stress happens, bad things happen. We need therapy. And
Mhm.
to me, it's just like that.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, and I actually, when I brought Jessica Rachel on the podcast, if you're afraid of what might come up in a session, I can't remember exactly how she worded it, but in my words, I always just tell clients, like, your higher self or spirit guides or whoever you're tapping into isn't going to share or isn't going to shed light on something that you're not yet ready to grasp or to understand. And so that's like with the whole fertility journey, like, yeah, it took a few different healers for me to like truly be open to that. And nothing came through until I was truly open to that. So yeah, I think that's a really good point that you bring up. And that answers my next question. I was going to ask you how somebody would know if they're even ready for this kind of healing. I feel like you answered that very well. Like, there's signs that would tell you that there's nudges for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're feeling that calling, hey, go for it. It's time. That is the universe, God, soul, whatever you wanna call it, telling you, "Okay, you're ready."
Yeah.
Gotta pay
Yeah.
attention and listen to it and
Yeah.
trust it.
Hmm. Absolutely. I agree. So you mentioned earlier that integration is a part of the process. Can you, like, what does integration typically look like? What is that? You
So
know what I'm saying?
integration from the session is basically taking everything that you experienced during BQH and finding how it impacts this life, understand or gaining new insights on the challenges that you have in everyday life. And so it's taking all those experiences and just integrating it into your everyday life. And you can do that through a whole lot of different ways. You can meditate on it. You can talk with a therapist or have an integration session with that practitioner. You can journal about it. I think one of the most important things is to feel into it. Like try to relax that mind back to get it out of the way because it can just bring a lot of noise and not. And if you just feel into it, that's a huge part of integration. Also, moving that energy around.
Mhm.
If you witness some pretty harsh past life stuff,
Yeah.
you absolutely want to move that body around, get that energy out. You don't want to hold on to it.
Mhm.
Get into nature, treat your body like you love it to death, as we should every day. But eat good, sleep good, drink good, do all the good things for yourself. Really take care of you. That's what integration is.
Okay. Okay. And I mean, honestly, like the healing journey shouldn't feel like work in like the negative connotation. Like I feel like when we say like, oh, marriage takes work, like it carries a very like negative connotation. But the healing journey really shouldn't feel like heavy, heavy work. Like it gets to be fun. And so when you incorporate these like integration tools and tactics into your life following a heavy session like this, it makes the healing journey more fun for you, I feel. So that's a really good point. And I know we kind of touched on this earlier, when we said like you're fully aware during the session, like there's nothing, nobody's like holding this power over you. But I just want to touch on this one more time. Clients, like listeners need to know that clients do usually remember because they're consciously aware throughout the whole session. So it's not like you leave a session and you forget everything. Plus, Heather records the sessions. But just to reiterate, like they do have memory of what is coming up
Yeah.
typically, right? Yeah.
In my experience, I've never had a client not remember a session. They
Right.
might forget like key things or a
Yeah.
little here and there, but typically they remember the majority of the session. And you're right, I record it, I send it to them so they can listen to it as many times as they want. I was going to say something else about it.
About being conscious and aware about remembering it.
Yes. So even if you don't consciously remember absolutely everything, your subconscious and your soul does. Your
Yes.
knows exactly what to do with all of that information. So you really
Mhm.
do anything because your
Yep.
soul knows what to do.
The very first therapist that I saw for hypnotherapy would tell me that, like, damn near every session, I'd be like, "There's so much." And I always take a journal with me and I'd, like, try and write, and so I remember, like, everything that came through in the session, and she'd be like, "Stephanie, don't worry. It's all inside." And I'm like, "Yeah, but, like, I wanna consciously have it. Like, I know it's in my subconscious, like, I wanna consciously walk out and be like, 'Okay, these were the big things.'" And she's like, "Your body and your mind knows." And it's like, yeah, that's a really
It's
good
that
point.
control that we hold on to for our life. The ego. We just want to have control. We want to know everything. But we don't really have to because our soul absolutely knows everything.
Yeah.
One other thing about that is clients do kind of not lose time, but their sense of time kind of gets wonky.
Oh,
I
yeah.
always love to ask, so how long did you think you were under? And I hear the craziest answers. Like sometimes it's, I don't know, like 15 minutes. And I'm like, seriously, dude, you were under for 3 hours. Mm.
Yeah.
That's like it feels so totally different. And so that is something that most people do experience is a different sense of time.
That's so fascinating. I mean, yeah, it went fast. I mean, when you initially said like 4 to 5 hours, I was like, "Good God, that's like an entire afternoon. You're gonna be sick of me." But like, no, it goes so fast. Yeah, you lose all sense of time, I feel, when you're going through it. Yeah, that's a really good point. I'm glad you bring that up. Uh, okay, or what tips would you have for somebody who wants to connect or reconnect with their higher self or with their intuition? Would you have any tips for that?
So you can absolutely do that outside of a BQH session. You just
Right.
to be under hypnosis to
Right.
connect with your higher self.
Yeah.
What I would recommend is to relax the mind, get that conscious mind out of the way, tap into your heart, get into a really high vibration because that's what's needed to access those higher dimensions. And so get into that higher vibration and then just ask your questions or just start talking and feel and sense what you receive. Maybe you'll receive a message, maybe you'll receive an image, a song, feeling on your body. I mean, who knows how your guides or your higher self is going to contact you or talk to you. Everybody is different, but
Right.
just pay attention to the little things.
I love it.
That's how I would recommend somebody to tap into it.
Yeah.
And of course
It's
through BQH because that
yeah.
makes it a lot easier when somebody's guiding you through it.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, after doing a session, well, now I've done 2, but after doing a session, I just felt more confident in being able to access that side of that higher version of myself more easily and without the ego getting in my way. Like now I feel like I'm a pro at it, but yeah, I think after you've done a few sessions, you're less likely to like let the ego interfere. And I think that's important. Is there
Absolutely.
any,
That is one thing that I hope for clients too, is that they learn how to do this themselves so they can go home and do it because it's so important.
yeah, yeah.
So it's so great. There's no words to express how much I love it.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Yeah. Is there anything else that you want listeners to know about BQH before we wrap things up?
That it's pure magic. It really is.
Yeah.
I mean, what is better than tapping into your own divinity
Yeah.
and healing whatever you need to be healed and remembering who the heck you are?
Right. Right.
It's just amazing. It's an amazing experience. And
I
I
agree.
so lucky that I get to do this. So lucky.
Yeah. It's got to feel so fulfilling on in so many ways. I think the mixture of sessions I did with you and the other BQH practitioner I had a session with and my sessions with these other spiritual healers, I think that's why I feel so confident in speaking my truth on the podcast and owning my path and my journey as a entrepreneur, professional, whatever. Like I have zero doubt that I'm on the right path, that I'm doing what's meant for my soul's journey in this lifetime. And all of that confidence and ownership has come from the spiritual healing that I've done in the last like 2 to 4 years. So I want that for everybody. Like you said, like I wish everybody could stand in that confidence and that ownership and just feel like I have zero doubt that I'm where I'm meant to be right now today. I have no anxiety about it, you know? I want that for everybody.
I do too. And that was so beautifully stated because
Yeah,
it's so true.
yeah, I agree. Okay, if listeners are interested in scheduling a session with you, before I have you share how they can reach out to you, I do want to put a plug in that, I kind of say this to all of my therapy clients too, is not every practitioner is a good fit for you, but I'm telling you guys, if after listening to today's podcast, you're like, Heather's a vibe, I could totally do a 4 hour session with her, then she's your practitioner. Okay. Then you need to reach out to her because I'm telling you, like, I searched on Instagram. I saved about, I think, like 4 profiles from people like all over the world. And I went with who my gut told me to go with. I'm picky about practitioners that I work with. I just needed to know like we were gonna jive. And trust your gut on that. Like don't go see somebody that you're like you already have like doubts in your mind whether this is going to be a good fit for you or not. And also, maybe you do a consultation with Heather and you walk out of that feeling like, "Oh, I thought we were going to be a good fit, but now I'm like, I don't know." That's okay. Like no hard feelings. You really need to go to a practitioner that feels like a good fit for you to get the maximum benefit out of the healing that you deserve. I tell that to all my therapy clients, and I think it rings true for okay, great. I don't think it matters what kind of healing you're doing. I think you need to see a practitioner or a healer that you feel jives with your energy level. As long as you're going in open minded, then hopefully the relationship feels like a good fit for you. But I just want to say that. So, how can people reach out to you if they are interested in scheduling a session with you?
They can check out my website, which maybe you can link
Yeah.
on the podcast
Yep.
because it's kind of long. It's www.innerbalancehealingpllc.com. They can email me at heather@innerbalancehealingpllc.com. They can call me. I can leave all that info with you.
Yep. I'll put it all in the show notes. Yeah.
Me on Instagram. They can check in with me on Instagram. On Facebook, touch.
Great. Yeah, I'll put all of that information in the show notes and then the books that you reference. Well, is there anything coming down the pipe for you, business wise or private practice wise, that you'd like to share with listeners?
I have a few slots open for therapy clients, and I have all the slots open for BQH clients.
Awesome.
I would prefer to do BQH sessions all day long.
Yeah.
So I do have a few slots open. I don't know if anything is changing in my practice. I'm still growing. I'm still learning.
Yeah.
I'm still having so much fun and loving my life every single day because
Good.
I get to do this.
Yeah. That's the best.
Nothing's changing right now. Maybe down
Awesome.
not right now.
Awesome. And so for your therapy clients, am I correct in saying you can only see people in the state of Texas,
Yes. Yeah.
virtually or in person?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And then for BQH, you can see anybody around the world.
BQH is around the world. I can see you. So all of my sessions are online. I don't do any in-person sessions. And so as long as you have a computer, you have a microphone, you have video, we're good.
Yep. And don't, for listeners who are like, oh, I'd really rather be in person, like, don't let the fact that these sessions are virtual get in your head about like it's going to be less effective. Because I'm telling you, I've done both a virtual one and an in person one. And maybe it's because of my connection with Heather. Like, we just really did jive from the start. I felt, just both being private practice owners and whatnot. But like, I can confidently say that I got just as much, if not more. And I'm being completely transparent, you guys. Like, I got so much out of my session with her. Even though she was on my computer screen while I'm laying in my bed, it felt like she was in the room with me. And maybe that's because, like, I don't have any issues or qualms about doing it virtual, but like, just get that out of your head if you have any limiting beliefs about like the thought of doing a session like that virtual, because it does not make it any less healing for you. Okay. Because while I feel our generation is more open to that, some are still on the fence about that stuff. And the effectiveness is not impacted, virtual or not. So
It also
awesome.
can be a lot more helpful for you
Hmm.
to be in your space that
Yeah.
you call home, that you're cozy in, that you're relaxed in. It can help you so much more in hypnosis to do that way. And then after a session, you don't have to drive anywhere because that can be really dangerous because most clients are kind of disoriented a little bit. They're still trying to get their footing back here on earth.
Yeah.
They're sleepy, and so it could be dangerous to drive. So I look online just for those reasons.
That's a really good point. Yeah, I didn't even think about that because, some of those sessions you probably process some really heavy stuff, and then you really shouldn't be getting behind the wheel if you're still like really in your head about some of that stuff. So, yeah, that's a really good point. Awesome. Heather, I so appreciate you coming on. I'm so, as you are, like, I'm just so passionate about this. And I just think everybody needs to experience it. And so, since I'm not yet certified in any kind of hypnotherapy, I just appreciate that you are willing to come on and share your expertise with listeners. I do like to end all of my collabs with some rapid fire questions, if that's okay.
Of course.
Okay. So, what is one limiting belief that you personally had to release in your own healing journey?
Just one? I have so
I
many.
know. I know. Me too.
I think a big one was that someone or something was gonna save me and fix me.
Yeah.
I didn't need saving, I didn't need
Yeah.
fixing,
Yeah.
but I had this belief that something external, something outside of me was gonna help me. When really, I have the soul. I don't have the soul. I am the soul.
Yeah.
I'm the divine being. I have all the answers. I have all the healing powers. I have everything that I need inside
Yeah.
of me. Need anything outside of me. That was a huge one for me.
And that's true for all of us. I mean, I totally agree with you, and I feel like I bring that up to a lot of clients at my private practice is like when you use the word like I need to be fixed or I'm like that implies that you're broken and we're not broken, and that's such a heavy word to use to describe yourself, but I agree. I think we're all, anybody who's in their healing journey is just constantly searching for like what's that one thing that I can do to fix me, and it's all within us. We just need to like quiet our world and go within more often. Yeah. That's a great example. What's a favorite spiritual practice or daily ritual that you incorporate into your day?
So my favorite would be connecting with my guides. I love talking with them. I love learning from them. I love everything about that. I don't do it probably as often as I should
Sure.
or as I need to,
Yeah.
but I do really enjoy doing that. I do have a daily practice that you can probably relate with because we're therapists and we deal with a lot of negative energy all day, every day. And so
Hmm.
every evening after I'm done, I do some energy clearing and I cleanse and get it all out of me, get it all off of me, release it all.
Yeah.
I've made that a daily practice because I need that.
Yeah, I do that at the end of almost every therapy day. Yes, I totally agree. It's a necessity. Is there, I mean, you kind of answered this early on, but is there a book or like teacher in your life that just radically changed your healing journey or your perspective in the healing journey?
Absolutely. Journey of Souls,
Yeah. Yep.
Wisdom of Souls,
Yeah.
Dr. Michael Newton. I would recommend anything by Dolores Cannon also,
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
the creator of QHHT, which is pretty much the grandma of BQH.
Yep.
There are so many similar things about QHHT and BQH, but they do slightly differ. But
Uh-huh.
anything her, Brian Wise, Dr. Brian Wise, he's another good one. I would absolutely recommend him to anybody too.
Yeah. Those are good names. Yep. I'll definitely put that in the show notes too. Awesome. Last one. Is there one truth that you've come to know about the soul?
It's a really good question.
I know it's kind of a deep one.
It's a deep one.
I know.
I guess that I never really understood the soul fully, even going to church growing up, even being religious. I never
Yeah.
understood what it really was until I got on my own spiritual journey and really reconnected with my real beliefs that I have
Yeah.
now
Yeah.
and learning that you're absolutely perfect. You're all wise. You're all knowing. You're all healing. You're all
Yep.
powerful.
Yep.
Own it.
Yeah. Yeah. Heather, that's so good.
Own it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so good. I completely agree. I wouldn't have even thought about it like that, but I agree. I don't feel like I knew what the soul was. It's almost like, as an entity, I wouldn't have known how to understand it until my spiritual awakening. And now that's just like common language that I use. Yeah. You're such a gem. I'm so glad you said yes to this. I know you were hesitant, and I hope now that we're at the end of the interview, you can truly say, like, I'm so glad I did this because I'm just so glad you came on today. So
I
thank you.
am so glad that I absolutely did this.
Good,
You're
good.
right. I was super hesitant. I am
Yeah,
still working on being fully seen, being fully myself,
yeah,
and BQH is a big part of that, and I still get kinda nervous about talking about it because not everybody believes this way. Not everybody thinks that hypnosis works,
right,
and
right.
so I get really skeptical at times. But no, I am so excited that I did this, and thank you
Awesome.
so, so much for inviting me because
Yeah,
amazing working with you, and you're right, we vibed right away. I love
yeah.
yeah, I love everything that you have to offer everybody. So,
Thank you,
kudos
Heather.
and thank you for having me.
Awesome. Thank you so much. You guys, if any of this really hit home for you, resonated with you, and you're like excited to set up a session with Heather, don't wait. Go online, do it. It's worth every penny. It's worth all the time you have to invest in it as well. Truly, just like one of the best investments I made in myself and my healing journey. And if you have questions, like Heather said, there's so many different ways you can connect with her, but don't hesitate to DM her, to reach out to her in whatever way feels most comfortable for you. She's happy to be of service to you and answer any questions you might have. And as always, if any of this just really hit home for you, I would really love it if you would just like share it in your story, tag me, or you could also send me a DM and let me know what really resonated with you. All right, guys, thanks again for tuning in, and I will talk to you guys all next week.